the Hollywood Bowl. Have you performed at the Hollywood Bowl before, and have you ever seen a show and dreamt of performing?
I have never performed at the Hollywood Bowl, and I've never even seen anything at the Hollywood Bowl. This is my, Hollywood Bowl debut in several ways.
Annie I think it'll be my third or fourth. I've been able to do, but more of sit, stand, sing, sit down again. So I've never actually done the big musical at the Bowl for the summer. So this is my first time. So I'm so excited, and I'm so glad it's this show.
I brought my daughter to see Hairspray a few years ago. We lasted 47 minutes because she was 4 at the time.
That's a pretty good time,
It
though.
is 10 minutes per year. So I was actually sitting at home lamenting the fact that no one ever asked me to do one of these, and the email appeared.
Hollywood Bowl is an iconic venue, and the people who run the place are fabulous, and the productions are great, and the audiences are brilliant, and I'm not being hyperbolic. It's really a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime, for me so far, a twice-in-a-lifetime experience, and there's no way I would ever say no to anything here.
And this is everyone.
Hi, everyone.
May I take your coat, miss?
Will I get back?
Of course, dear.
Gee, I really love my newcomer sparrow.
I am glad, dear. Now, Annie, what would you like to do first? Cecile will pick out all your clothes.
Green is her best color. No, blue, I think.
Your bath is drawn by Mrs. Grier.
Bubbles. No? Soap, I think.
Why are you glad that it's this show? Because I remember seeing Annie first in the movie. That was my first experience, but I feel like everybody has an introduction to this show.
I actually got to play that title, Orphan, when I was 9, and then later on when I was 12, and I did all of that in the Philippines. So a lot of the show is still in my head, and I have the original Broadway cast album still burned in there, listening to Dorothy Loudon and Andrea McArdle and Reed Shelton. And so all of that music is still stuck in there. So when Michael Arden very nicely asked me to do it, he was like, do you want to play Grace Farrell and Annie? Yeah.
It's like full circle. You're just like...
Totally. This is a full circle moment for me.
My first introduction to Annie, I did it with the Bellevue Youth Theater growing up. I played a Boylan sister, and then because we were putting on the musical, we watched the movie, and I just fell in love with it.
I love the songs, and it was the first show I've ever done. When I was 7 years old, I played Annie.
I was about to ask you your first experience with Annie. Was it actually being in the show, or had you heard of it before that?
I had heard of it, but I was definitely
First, my mom sent in a self-tape, but I wasn't feeling that well, so it was kind of it wasn't that good. So my mom decided to send videos of me playing Annie at the Westchester Broadway Theater as the understudy. So then my mom sent them, and then the casting director emailed my mom and said if we could retake, and this time be a little bit more tough, and at the last note on tomorrow, to hold day away a little bit longer. My mom was driving home, and then she got a call saying, you got the part of Annie, and I'm like, I did? And I was so excited.
I love any comic villain, so I've done a bunch of them, and this was one of the great ones. And they have had amazing people who have done this part, obviously, in the big movies, and they're always an inspiration. Everything I ever see Tim Curry in or Alan Cumming, and I'll probably infuse what I always do, which is to put a little Daffy Duck and a little Roger Bart mixed together and end up kind of doing a rooster.
So my character is named Star to Be, and it's basically the young actress arriving in New York with this dream of being a Broadway star. And it's just this cameo in NYC, but I connect to it, obviously, because after I did Annie when I was a little girl, it was just my dream to be on Broadway one day.
Just got here this morning. 3 books, 2 bags, 1 knee.
Cast, what's it like working with all of them?
They're dull, and the beauty part is that I know all of them, and we all know each other, so it's a bit like actor camp. David Alan Grier and Anna Gasteyer and Megan Hilty and Roger Bart and Lea Salonga, and even they're old news. The actors are amazing, are the ensemble and the orphans, who are jaw-droppingly good.
Hard Knock Life is just magical. So
Little kids, I'm like, I couldn't tie my shoe at that age. I'm
I
like,
was
what's happening?
crying the entire time watching those kids.
Now, for this one, shenanigans, you'll scrub Lee's floors and you'll sit right there to the laundry man.
But it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
So you'll get down on your little knees and you'll scrub this dump until it shines like the top of the Chrysler building.
Yes, Miss Hannigan. Don't it feel like the wind is always howling? Don't it seem like there's never any light? Once a day, don't you want to throw the towel in? It's easier than putting up a fight. Run, smelly life. Full of sorrow life. No tomorrow life. Santa Claus we never see. Santa Claus, what's that? Who's he? No one cares for you. A smidge when you're in an orphanage.
I can't. I mean, I can't. They're gonna steal this entire show. I think, you know what? If people up and leave after Hard Knock Life or after Kaylin sings tomorrow, I'm like, you know what? I can't blame you. But it's such a wonderful musical, and it's so wonderful to get to follow the story of this little girl, you know, and how this man who has done nothing for much of his adult life but make money all of a sudden finds something that's so much more important than that, and how Grace orchestrates so many things that kind of make him fall in love with this little girl. So she kind of is this dream maker.
What's it like preparing for a show like this in a matter of like a week as compared to, you know, having months to rehearse an actual Broadway show?
Oh, it's insane. It's absolute madness, but it's super fun, and just like everything in the theater, magically it all comes together in the end.
It's been crazy. Like, oh, Kaylin, you're over there. Oh, Kaylin, now you're over here. Oh, it's break. Okay, now you're back in. Okay, over here, over here, over here. And it's like, oh, okay. So many notes, so many blocking.
Putting it all together. You learn the dance, and when you learn the dance, you're not really singing because you're like, then you learn the song, which you're not dancing, and you're singing, but you're not moving. Then you have to push it all together, plus with the scene. So it takes a while to whip it up.
You end up like dreaming it at night too? You're like,
Yes.
get rid of it?
I tried to remember my lines last night, but I was like,
I would tell them to see Annie at the Hollywood Bowl because it's just a very fun and exciting show, and it brings a lot of hope, and it sends a really great message. And also the dog is very cute. This is Macy, and she's gonna play Sandy.
No other town in the Empire State has a mayor 5'2". What other town in the whole 48 can have compared to